Right, we're up the back of the 65 this time, and I've done the PTO shaft. You saw a little video on that, and the PTO, it slides up from the back end here, and you can see that bearing there. That bearing sits up against this lip in there. So what I like to do before we get going with this is, look, I just have a little wire brush on my drill, and this gets a bit of rust in here, and I've been doing a bit of painting inside, you know, tidying up the inside of the housing. So I just like to get this in here, clean all these surfaces up. And when I clean the surfaces up there, that just makes sure there's no rust there at all. There's nothing that'll start a little bit of corrosion. And what we can do then is we can start sliding this shaft in, and look, from the back here you can just slide it straight up, and you can feel where it's going to go into the bearing housing there. It should want to go there. I'll see if I can get that to line up. Okay, I've got the shaft sitting in there now. Now, I did have a little bit of trouble getting it in. Now, the trouble was up the side of the housing where I had the two pegs on the new hydraulic pump. I just put that in and the pump was sagging at the bottom a bit. And once I loosened the side pegs and lifted it a bit, in it went like a beauty. So if you haven't had your pump out, you shouldn't have that worry at all. So it was just a problem that I'd made for myself. So look, here's the seal housing that you saw the other day going in. So I often put these in together, but I just didn't do it this time. I'll see if I can bring this back a bit, just so the seal lines up. Actually, I need a little bit of grease there. I usually like to put a bit of grease on the seal surface on there, and I hadn't done it on this one yet. So we'll put a bit of grease there, so when the seal goes up, and that's part of the benefit of putting them in together. You slide it all in one piece and you know it's okay. But because I had trouble with the seal and the bearing there, well, yeah, I didn't get to do it this time. So I'll try and slide this fella through. There we go. So we have to line up the sides here. And I should be able to just bump it with here for that O-ring. Right, so now that bit's done, this housing here, we have to line that up. And you can see the two flats here with the two flats there. So we may be out a little bit, who knows. Yep, there we go. So we just need to turn that a little bit. I'll have a punch here. That looks pretty good. Okay, and I just went to town earlier and I got a couple of Allen head bolts that I had to part off to get them to size. Now, with this plate here, some tractors only have the one plate, but on the 65s they have other bits going on as well. But with this plate, you might think that's very thin to hold the PTO in, and they do get a little bit worn here. And this plate on its own, I should be able to just put the Allen screws in here. I'll put a bit of copper, pardon me, I'll put a little bit of copper on each, just to make sure whoever comes along after me can get them out. And it doesn't look like much to hold the PTO in, but what you have to keep in mind is when you have a PTO driven implement, I can just start that one, you have a PTO driven implement, and pardon me. If you have a PTO driven implement hooked onto the a quick coupler or something on this PTO shaft here, a lot of the stress going when you raise and lower comes on this little plate. Now, the only reason it comes on this plate and that bearing inside that we've just retained with this plate, now this doesn't have to be done tight, it's just got to be done up enough. Now, what wrecks the bearing in the end there is when the PTO shaft to your topper, your slasher, your implement isn't greased or it's got a little bend in it. Then when the PTO shaft becomes in line, and so if this is your shaft implement, when it's dead in line there, that's the shortest that shaft will be. But when you lower it, the PTO shaft will get longer, and when you raise it, the PTO shaft gets longer. So over the working of the day of your slasher, you lift and lower, well, the shaft on the back to your implement gets longer and shorter every time you raise and lower. And if that shaft on the back hasn't been lubricated correctly and it's really hard, now when you're putting it on you think, geez, this is stiff to push in and out. Well, what happens is every time you lift and lower, you really strain this, you put strain on this plate here that holds the bearing retainer in. You put strain on the bearing because that bearing and the circlip's all that holds that PTO in place. So the outer of the bearings is retained, so the inside you're putting a lot of load on. So if you've got it down and you've got it pushing hard up the arse of the tractor and you're turning it, well, your ball bearing, instead of running how it should be, just in a neutral position, it's forced one way. So you won't get any life out of anything, your seals won't last, your bearings won't last, and yeah, look, it'll just be a pain in the bum in general. So make sure that the shaft that you put on here, on your PTO, make sure that moves in and out nice and freely. And if you're having trouble with bearings and PTO seals and things like that, you may have a bit more luck when you look after things. So the next thing to come onto here is this plate. Now 35 doesn't have this, but the 65 does. Now the 65 has a different draft setup. So I'll try and bring the camera up a bit higher for us. Okay, I've shifted the camera now and you can see this plate here. Well, what's that all about? Well, on the 65 you have this draft link, and your draft link here, it goes up to where your normal top link would go, and your normal top link pin goes through the top of that. And we can put a proper pear-shaped linch pin in there, and this then gets a rubber on the back of it. These parts are available from Queensland Tractor Spares. I know AgriLine's got the rubbers too, and that goes on there. Then when we put these bolts in here and tighten that up, that clamps this bar here in place. So with your normal top link, and say on a 35, your normal top link, it goes into this position here where the pin is. And when you have a draft implement and it pushes forward on your top link to draft and your linkage will come up, that would normally go there. That's a straight pull. Well, with the Massey 65, they've got a lot more horsepower, they had bigger tyres, and the draft here wasn't strong enough for them. So the draft system here was nearly on its limits. So what they did with the models after, they brought this link in here. So if you use this as a pivot now, and you get closer to the pivot, that makes that harder to push in. So where say it takes 35 horsepower to push it in here at the top one, it might be 45 at this one and might be 65 at that one. They're not exact figures, that's just to get the example through. So this draft link here, it sits in behind there, and you won't see that on a 35. Grumpy Dave had this on a 35, so all we can work out is that once upon a time the draft was too sensitive for that tractor, and I don't know why that would be, but he had a 35 with this, and this set up on it, which I've never seen ever before. So it was obviously just done. It's not in the parts book, I don't believe. So once that's in, we can just put that pin in there. That's your top link pin. So now instead of your top link going there, it either goes there or there through this top one here. And that makes the draft less sensitive. So if you wanted a bit more sensitive with your more horsepower, your bigger wheels, bigger traction, more power to the ground, you can actually change where your top link goes. So it doesn't go there anymore, it goes into one of these. So those with 35s may not have seen that before, I don't know. And now what I'd like to do here, oh look at that, what a pain in the arse. Okay, so that's an aftermarket shaft, that's a standard PTO, not within a bull's roar. If you hang on a second, I've got an aftermarket one, but I've got to find out what's going there. This shaft must be too long, but look, I did check them out and I thought it was exactly the same, but that cap there is off a 35 and I presumed it would have been the same, but it's obviously not. But that is an aftermarket shaft, I have to keep that in mind. So this is an aftermarket cap I was going to put on the 35, and I was just wondering how that goes. Look, that's fine, but it just looks like shit compared with that. So I'll have to find out, is there a long and a short one of that? And look, that's a good thing about this hobby. You never stop learning. People look to me for advice. I look to others for advice, and in the end, we might all know what we're doing. Who knows? But look, that's all we need there. These bolts here, I don't think they had spacers on them. I will look in the parts book. I reckon I've seen spacers on a couple of them. I'm just not sure. But any PTO covers and all that would just bolt straight over there. Then there'll be a cutout for this on a 65. So there you go. That's putting the PTO shaft in. Yeah, it was a bit of a fiddle around this time, but that's okay. And yeah, I'll stay in touch. I'll let you know what I find with this cover anyway, eh?